Hi, and welcome along to a brand new podcast called the Invincibles podcast, where we talk all things Arsenal and the Premier League and just general chatter. With my main man, Lee Hospitality Judges. You may not know why we call him Lee Hospitality Judges. Why do they call you Lee Hospitality Judges?
It's a bit harsh because I've just been in hospitality a couple of times, I suppose.
A few times.
A few times, you know what I mean? So wherever you go, you've got to have a little bit of hospitality in your life, you know what I mean? That's how I look at it. So,
what hospitality you done this year?
This year I've done a Diamond Club at the Emirates.
Jesus.
And that was unbelievable, like, you know, so yeah.
What's that like?
Yeah, unbelievable. You know, like in the directors, you're actually above the directors box, like, you know, but like, yeah, like
cushion chair.
Yeah, cushion,
heated seats.
Yeah, heated seats, which you didn't need because it was in the summer. But yeah, heated seats.
Blanket
if you need it, required.
Cup of tea as the game's going on.
Champagne reception when you come in. Yeah,
champagne reception.
Champagne reception when you come in. Steak and chips, and I mean proper steak and chips. Yeah, very, very nice. So that's.
And when it finishes, more hospitality again.
Yeah.
That's why you come out of games and chat shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's pissed at me.
If I come out there and staggered, that's when I've been in hospitality, like, yeah, because you've got to milk it while you're up there, like, you know. But
we did of course, we went to the cricket.
We won the cricket one, didn't we?
The cricket hospitality at Lords, that was all right, wasn't it?
We were drunk on Pims, weren't we?
We were drunk on Pims.
Unbelievable, wasn't it?
I'll never forget those guys, man, on that we went with, that, like, we were like, because the thing is about cricket, when you go there, you're drinking from early.
Yeah, they wanted to start at 10 o'clock. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and then like by the end of the day, me and him were like, we were like, and they were like, yeah, we're going to go to this other thing.
We're going to go to the
Prosecco bar.
Prosecco bar. I did fancy it, but my old legs wouldn't get me there, like, you know what I mean?
And what other ones have you done?
Wimbledon.
Wimbledon hospitality.
That
Wimbledon. Must be good.
Oh, that's unbelievable, like, you know. I've done a little video of that if you want to ever see it, like, but they've got the best.
That's on your channel.
Yeah, the best thing that I can explain is you go there, it's because it's a hot day and all that, and you go back into the hospitality bit, and they've got a river that runs through.
River.
That's a little river, like man-made river, and so you put your feet in it, like, you know what I mean, and sit there with your Pims and champagne, like, you know what I mean, like, because all the walking in the hot, and it's lovely. You know, and then they towel you off your feet and all that, like.
Towel off your feet?
Quality. Yeah, it's quality, like, you know. So yeah, so you can go and watch the games. You go over at court 1 or centre court, if you're lucky, you know what I mean, get centre court. And then, but you can come back and you can eat all your food and drink and watch it on the big screen, whatever you want to do, like, you know, your strawberries and cream and all that, like, you know. It's quality. Wimbledon is a must.
This is shame.
But you've done the old Formula 1 though, haven't you?
I did do the Formula 1 now. I've got to say, that's the best one I've
ever done.
In there with
Aubameyang, weren't you?
Yeah. Met Aubameyang there. Is in the pit lane. That was over in Italy. That was unbelievable. That's
there you go. There. So you've topped me.
I want to do that again. It was brilliant.
Me.
And I done. I'll tell you another one that I did, which was good. Was Ascot. I got invited to that.
I've never done Ascot.
Yeah, that was good, man. And, the box that I was in was with a betting company that invited me, and I was in this box. And the box opposite it, I ain't gonna lie to you, the Queen was in there.
That's unreal, isn't it?
And she came out. I came out of the box, and she came out, and she was, you know, it was quite.
Did she belch you? She give it hello there, Don.
That's the Queen. I couldn't believe it, man.
That's unreal.
She's really short.
That's a proper box, that is, isn't it?
Yeah, she's really short, man. I didn't know she was that short.
Arsenal supporter as well, you know.
Arsenal supporter. The Queen is an Arsenal supporter, and of course, she will love the Invincibles.
Yeah, she would love the Invincibles.
And the Invincible podcast. I mean, first of all, before we get into our subject of this week, the Invincibles, is that the best team that Arsenal have ever had?
Oh, yeah, but I think you'd probably have to say, like, you know, when people diss the old Invincibles and say, we didn't get enough points and all that, like, you know, and I always will argue that is because there must have been times in that game when they think, we've got to stay unbeaten here.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? So, like, say if you'd have lost in the first game, there's nothing to protect, is there? But we was protecting that unbeaten run at times. So there must have been times when you think, right, well, we've got to go for it, but hold on a minute, in the back of the mind.
Yeah, especially when you're coming down towards the end of it.
Yeah, so when they went around and say, you didn't get as many points as you got, or got a lot of draws and all that, there's reasons for that.
Yeah, listen, for me, it's the best feat ever achieved in Premier League. Remember the words I said? Premier League history. I know people talk about the treble-winning Manchester United team. That was an exceptional team, but those were results as well achieved outside of the Premier League.
Yeah.
But in the Premier League, no one's ever done it.
Nah.
No one's ever done it. And you know the thing that I always remember about that season, right? Apart from that being just a wonderful season and me just bouncing out of the Arsenal station and just going to every game thinking we ain't going to lose. But the other thing I always remember about that season is that Arsene Wenger called it. He called it. He said, I think we can go a whole season unbeaten. And he got mocked, by the media. They'd be like, this guy's an idiot.
And do you know why he done that? And if you think about it, because I was actually thinking about it when we was saying we was going to do it as an Invincible podcast, was that the year before, well, 2002, he went unbeaten away from home. Yeah. And his philosophy was, if you can go away from home and be unbeaten, it's easy. It's a lot easier to stay unbeaten at home. That was his. So he said, look, if we can do it away, we can do it at home and match it up. You know, and people did mock him for it, but that's where that idea come from. You know, so in 2002, went away from home, which is a remarkable achievement to go away for the whole season. Never done before, by the way, and stay unbeaten. And we lost silly games at home, didn't we? If you remember rightly, But then to do that, what we done, unbelievable.
Unbelievable, and to show you how difficult it is, it's never been done since. No one's done it, despite teams spending over £1 billion on players. Yeah. You know, they haven't done it, and I still think it's people talk about the 100 points and things like that. Again, like you said, once you know you're closing in on that 100 points, you're going to go for every game because you've already won the league. You're going to go for every game, right? But the one where they say you can't lose, and you know that every team you're playing, when you're running down towards the end of that season, it's like we're going to break this. We're going to ruin the party. Nah, that's an unbelievable feat. It really is, and something that Arsenal fans should rightly be always proud of.
Be proud of it. And one of those things when they say about draws, and this is what I'm saying: 10 minutes to go in a game, Portsmouth away, 1-1.
Yeah.
Right. What do you do? Do you go for it?
No.
Or do you hold on to that?
You hold on to that. You want to, you know what I mean? Because towards the end of it, the player, as I said, Wenger called it early in the season. Yeah. And the players, once they saw it in sight, they're like, yeah, we want to achieve this. Now, this is going to put us in greatness, and it has.
Yeah, and say if you was going for the 100 points, like Chelsea did and all that, 10 minutes to go, if they went for it and they lost, it wouldn't have been that much of a bad thing, 1 point to 3. Yeah. So they've got that thing to go. But for us, it was like, oh, hold on a minute here. We don't want to lose this game now. So when people say, oh, you drew too many games there, there's reasons why we drew games.
There's reasons why, and it was an unbelievable
Still
team.
0 at the end.
No L's in our whole season. Unbelievable. The belief to do that. I wish this team now had even half of that belief, right?
We're lucky to go a month without a defeat. We're celebrating that now.
We did September. We went a month without defeat.
And it's like that just shows you. By the way, we went September unbeaten, and Mikel Arteta's got manager in a month. So that just to do it over the whole period,
the whole season.
So that just shows you. So you're getting rewarded for doing it in a month. We've done it in the whole every single month.
The more you think about it,
Yeah.
The more you think about it. Sometimes I think to myself, we kind of took it for granted how good we were in those times, because I remember I'd be sitting there and I'd be just like, we're winning. Everywhere, like now you go to games and you'd be like, people before, what do you reckon? And you're like, boy, I don't know, I swear. Even sometimes there's certain teams that we know we should really be beating, but that season, every team we played, probably apart from Man United, I'll be like, I don't know. I still think we'll win, but we've got to be careful of. It was an unreal time. And
I remember always cautious when you go to Tottenham, Anfield, Man United, those, and Stamford Bridge as well. But if you ever look back at the game against Liverpool, Robert Perez scores that goal, and he cuts inside, wonder goal and everything like that. But I'm going to say this now. There were times when I was moaning, you know what I mean? That's unbelievable. Do you remember when we drew at Portsmouth? I said, we're not good enough to win the league if you can't beat Portsmouth at home. Do you know, but that's what Arsenal fans...
Don't blame AFTV. We weren't around in them times. I wish we were in them good times.
But, but that's what he was like. That's what fans are like.
Yeah, I always told a joke of when I was at Highbury, I used to sit behind this Scottish guy. Funny enough, there's an old picture that somebody found, right? It was like a video, it was on Sky. Actually, was that at Highbury? Yeah, it was at Highbury. And I'm sat there behind the guy, right? But I used to sit behind this guy, and I swear, the guy, he used to moan, man. And the biggest target of his moaning was Pierre-Emerick. Oh. He's a Scottish guy, and he used to go, he's fucking lazy. He's lazy, get back! Get back! I think to myself, and I always think to myself, you know, every time I'm at games, I always think to myself, number one, I wonder what's ever happened to that guy, if he's still alive or whatever. He was an older guy, right? I hope he's still alive watching Arsenal. But number two, what would he be saying now? Because I'm telling you, that guy was miserable, man. He moaned at every, and as I said, Henry was always his number one target because he saw him as a bit of a fancy damn player, lazy. I remember he used to go, look, his fucking socks right up across his knees and that. He used to moan at everything, right? And those days we won everything. It was brilliant.
It's unbelievable when you think about those sort of things, is what it would be like with those players under that scrutiny of now. You know, because there must have been times when Henry had a bad game, or Bergkamp had a bad game, or Vieira, not very often, but they must have. And like, what was we saying? Like,
what we'd be saying?
What we'd be saying? Like, you know?
Funny enough, you know, I remember I met Kanu, and we were chatting about AFTV, and he was saying, he goes, I wish it was around when I was playing football, right? He goes, I would love to have heard what the fans thought of our performances on a match-by-match basis. That's what he actually said. And I said to him, seriously, you wouldn't be worried about sometimes the criticism? And he goes, nah, man. He goes, listen, he goes, sometimes when you hear the truth about your performance, and he goes, fans will kind of give you the truth. He goes, if you listen to them in general, they will kind of give you the truth. He goes, it would help you to inspire you to do better the next game. That's what he actually said. Yeah. But, you know, I don't think we would have done... the nature of fans, we would have moaned, but we would have been happy in general because, you know...
Yeah, but I think you do, like... I remember going back into the George Graham era and things like that. You used to have the Gooner fans in all that, and you used to have the fans' comments, and the players used to read that, and you know, you go like...
And there was a lot of moaning at those times as well about the style of football and stuff like that.
Yeah, so there's always something to moan about.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you hear City fans moaning now about Pep not playing a striker and things like that, you know what I mean? So, but they were great days. Now, the really interesting thing, and really interesting as we're starting this new podcast, is that one of the Invincibles is coming home on Monday night. Patrick Vieira, now manager of Crystal Palace, coming to take on the Arsenal.
And doing well.
And doing very well at Palace. I mean, I think the turning point really was the big win against Tottenham, you know, beating them 3-0, a really exciting performance. Yes, Tottenham fans, 3-0. A really exciting performance it was by Palace. But the interesting thing, what I've heard from Palace fans, I know a couple of Palace fans, and I remember we were doing a watch-along on the Don Robbie channel, and there was a Palace fan in for it. And he said, he goes, what he loves is the style of football. He said, no disrespect to Roy Hodgson. He goes, Roy Hodgson played a very negative style of football, right? He goes, it's been a breath of fresh air to see the attacking, stylish football that Patrick Vieira is playing. And he's doing really well because at Palace, at the start of the season, they literally got rid of the whole team.
Yeah, he's had to rebuild, didn't he?
Yeah, he's had to really... When you talk about a rebuild, I mean, he really has to you know, he's brought in a load of younger players, you know, players like, you know, Andros Townsend, etc. They all went, you know, he's doing great. You know, that is it Conor Gallagher in midfield? The loanee from Chelsea has been brilliant. Zaha stepped it up a level again. You know, they're going to be a serious threat. But what have you made of Vieira in management so far?
I think since he's come to Palace, he's been fantastic. As you said, breath of fresh air. I think he's been brilliant. I like the style of football. Listen, after that game against Spurs, you know, I think that affected us going into the Norwich game because we was all seeing the Vieira side as we come in, like, you know. So
true, it gave us a buzz as well.
Give us a lift as well for that Norwich game, you know. And I think I think this is a massive game for Mikel Arteta because if Vieira comes here and does a trick over him, I think a lot of fans are going to say, well, why haven't we got Vieira here? Like,
you know what? I didn't even really think of it that way, but you're right. You're right.
So he'd be under the pump.
Vieira, how I understand it, he wasn't even interviewed or even considered for the job, right? Which when you sort of stack him up against Mikel Arteta, you know, number 2 at Man City, but never ever managed before. Whereas Patrick Vieira, he was at Man City, remember, playing quite a big role. Not assistant manager, but a big role at the club. He then went and managed New York City, which is sort of a Man City affiliate type club over in New York. And then he went to Nice and was managing there and started off well there. Didn't, you know, in the end he ended up getting...
Got experience.
But he's got more managerial experience than Mikel Arteta. So
he's got everything.
It is weird that he was never even considered for the job.
Yeah, do you remember that game Trumps when you used to have the cards and things like that? Like, you know, we put Vieira and Arteta's up. Like, you're taking. If you've got Vieira, I'm taking that card because there's nothing from footballing wise, managerial wise, that Arteta can trump him on anything. You know what I mean? Vieira
so do you think Vieira might be looking at it and saying, you know what, I'm going to show you guys, because you overlooked me. You overlooked me for the Arsenal job. You didn't even consider me when I should have, you know, come on, if Arsenal would have, he would have come to Arsenal, wouldn't he?
Well, without a doubt. And do you know what? What part of me would have loved him to come to Arsenal because he's one of my all-time. Well, I think he's the best player that's ever played for Arsenal, in my opinion.
I was going to ask you. Go on to ask you about that.
But so I would love to see him at Arsenal. But if it doesn't work, then you'd be a little bit. Worried about it.
One of your heroes.
Because he's one of the heroes, you know. So very, very difficult. But ultimately, he's been more of a legend than Mikel, and that's no disrespect because you know, like Patrick Vieira. We're talking Patrick Vieira, and I think, you know, I mean, I think he was going to turn around. You know, he's built. You know, Rome's not built in a day, but he's built Palace up very, very quickly into, you know, like. They're on a different scale to what Arsenal are going to be. If he got into the top 10, that'd be fantastic for them. But, you know, they were favourites to be relegated, by the way, at the beginning. So I don't think you would say that they are now. He's built very, very well with a couple of signings and all that, like, you know. So I would be, if I was Patrick Vieira, I'm going to go and show, you know. And this is where I feel like Mikel's under a lot of pressure because he's already had Emery come over, you know, the former manager, and turn him over. If one of you know, if the majority of Arsenal fans, if you would put it to a poll, who would you prefer to have, Vieira or Arteta? I think for sentimental reasons and whatever, you'd have gone Vieira. So if he was to turn him over, like with a Crystal Palace team with less players, if you look at it on paper and whatever, I think, you know, Mikel will be under a lot of pressure. You
made a point there before, right? You said you wouldn't have wanted Vieira to come back just in case you, in your eyes, would ruin his legacy a bit. And I kind of felt this a similar way with Thierry Henry. I kind of feel that way
I was
as well.
saying that way, yeah.
Although I'd love to see him manage, but then I worry if you mess it up. Do you think that? Do you look at a lot of the legendary players and you think, 100%. I'd rather not you guys?
100%. Because you only have to look at Arsene Wenger. If you look at it from there, we all idolised Arsene Wenger. You know what I mean? Like I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too.
And then at the end of it, you know what I mean, I wanted him gone, like, you know what I mean, and lost that respect and love for him that I had previously, you know what I mean? With Patrick Vieira, you know what I mean, I was in awe of him as a player, you know what I mean, like I thought he's just one wonderfully gifted player. And I've always liked, I don't think, of all my years of watching Arsenal, that I've seen a player have a debut with as much impact as what he had, and when I thought, wow, you know what I mean? Like, and you'll have a look, Dennis Bergkamp's
took a while to get going.
Omri's, you know, weren't
him too.
That, like, you know, and you can go back in time. I can go back, you know, Charlie Nicholas's one against Luton wasn't memorable. His was. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want him that tarnished.
So your all-time favourite player is Patrick Vieira.
Not favourite. The best player, I think, to play for Arsenal.
The best player you think to play for Arsenal is Patrick Vieira?
Yeah, and the reason why is because all the big games when we was winning trophies and all that, he was there. If you look back at 2002, we went to Old Trafford, no Omri, no Bergkamp. take Vieira out of that team, we wouldn't have won that game at Old Trafford and won. He was awesome. You know what I mean? You go back to all the games that Arsenal have been involved in, big games. Patrick Vieira has been there leading it. I go to the semi-final of the FA Cup at Old Trafford that time, like, you know what I mean? We should have won it by a counter, like, but who's the one that dragged us through it with a header and all that, like. And my brother, as a massive Spurs fan, was there that day, and that was the first time he see Patrick Vieira in the flesh. And he turned around and he said to me, "Wow, I've not seen anything like that in all my time as following another team." So,
what made him for some of the, because we you know, us as old codgers, right? We sometimes forget that a lot of youngsters have never seen Patrick Vieira play, right? What made him so good? And if you could liken him to one player who plays now, who would that be?
That's a difficult one, because I don't think there's ever been anybody quite like him. And I mean this, you know, when people turn around and go, "Oh, we haven't replaced Vieira, we haven't replaced," you know, they're very, very hard to replace because they're one-offs. The thing with Vieira, what I loved about Vieira, if you wanted to go to war with him, you could go to war with him. Like Roy Keane went to war with him and all that, like. But if you wanted to play, so right, I go, "Well, I'm going to play you at football today, Patrick." He could out-football you as well. Like, and that's where I think he was a better player than Roy Keane. Roy Keane, fantastic, weren't as good a footballer as Patrick Vieira. No. You know, drove from box to box. He could do it all.
Yeah, box to box.
He could do it all.
Defensive stuff. Yeah, like you said, he was complete in that area.
Complete in everything. And the one thing which I would say, that there were at times his discipline let him down.
Yes.
Right? There were times of that.
Yeah.
But you know what? You instantly forgive him. Because
he was the heartbeat of the team.
He was a match. I remember him, you know, the spitting incident at West Ham, which was terrible, by the way. Like, you know, like let himself down, got banned, I think, for about 6 games. But that's all right. It's Patrick. Somebody, I'm not going to mention, some player done that now. When we know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, they wouldn't forgive him. But because he was that good, you overlook those like little things that he done.
You know, I'm trying to answer my own question, thinking that who can I compare him to who plays now? I can't think of anyone in the Premier League. No,
Thomas Partey's a little bit like him in certain things, but
Partey in stature and that, but
nothing
Partey's
else.
Still got a long way to go to show me.
The closest
anything.
would have been to him would have been Diaby. If he would have stayed fit.
But Diaby didn't have Diaby had the skills and everything. He had the strength. Do you know what? When I look on it, I think the only player that I can I see there's a little link is Kante. But obviously, he was a different. I
thought he was going to say someone else there.
Who?
Paul Pogba is a little bit.
Pogba, actually. But I don't think Pogba...
He's got it all.
Actually, no, you're right, you know.
He's got it all.
You're right.
He's got it all. He's got it all.
Yeah,
Paul
Pogba, the French Pogba.
He's got all of those sort of things.
Yeah, you're right, Pogba.
Power and all that.
And the same sort of stature and the same sort of skills and everything like that.
But he hasn't got, and I believe this sincerely.
I think it's a good shout.
Sincerely, that Roy Keane helped Patrick Vieira, because I think that sometimes if you are like the best, you just think, "Oh, I'm the best" and all that. But there was always that debate. So when them two come up against each other, I think they inspired each other, even when they was playing against not such good sides, because they knew they had to perform. Yeah, and he did. You know what I mean? Listen.
Yeah,
he gets all the.
Was a good shout.
He gets a lot of credit. Tony Adams gets massive amounts of credit for being a great captain and all that, like, you know, and quite rightly so. But he took over from captain. You ain't turned around and say, and never said, "Oh, we miss Tony Adams as a captain," because this monster of a player come in and just took over the captaincy, which, by the way, must have been a very, very difficult thing. You know, when they say, "Oh, look, it's very hard to take over from Arsene Wenger as a manager." Well, I imagine it would have been a hard job taking over from Tony Adams as a captain for all those years. Very. Straight through, no problems.
Was you disappointed with the way he left the club? Vieira, because for
100%.
For quite a few seasons towards the end of his Arsenal career, he was always getting linked with moves away.
That was a frustration.
That was like every season, and he kind of always never denied it, did he? He sort of, it was almost like he was kind of encouraging it.
I don't really know what happened there. I think, you know, in 2002, do you remember we'd signed Sol Campbell, and there was all the talk about him going then, and we managed to keep. I was delighted when we did. And he signed that contract and that. And then in 2004, I felt tarnished a little bit because we'd been invincible, and then there was like, oh, Patrick's going in that summer. Do you remember? It was a year. I think it was the Euros, and the deal had been done. I'll never forget on Sky Sports they said, you know, they'd agreed the deal to Mourinho, and he's gone. And I went to bed that day, like, you know what I mean, like not very, very unhappy to wake up in the morning saying no, he'd had a change of heart. And then I'm delighted. He then scores the winner in the cup final via the penalties. And then the next thing he's going to Juventus, and I can't. So all that time we tried to keep him the year before. Maybe they just got fed up with, you know, like him being linked away from Arsenal. I thought that was probably just that last, that one when Real Madrid were coming in for him and all that, just tarnished it slightly.
Yeah. But he was a great player. What sort of reception do you think he's going to get when he comes back on?
Well, hopefully a good one. I think. Yeah, I mean. Hopefully, like they'll sing his name before the game. You know, when the 90 minutes go on, you know what I mean. I think if we're maybe 2-0 up, then maybe they might have a little sing along again, a bit like. But if he's winning, then they won't. Well, I certainly won't. But but before, yeah, definitely. You know, I'll never forget going to Wembley in '98, walking down Wembley Way, and the whole crowd singing that Vieira song.
Yeah,
it was just.
Is that the best ever football song
I
for a player? So. I feel it is.
Yeah.
I feel it is. It's still sung to this day. That is a song that I always look at and say, wow, whoever came up with that
was absolutely... Yeah. I remember coming on the train going into Wembley, and the whole train was singing that. And I think if you actually spoke to Patrick and said that he's never had that before or after he left Arsenal, there was that love... You know, feeling like, and just fans just sung that song. Whoever made that song, like, I'd love to know that because tip my hat to them, like, you know what I mean? Because it's a wonderful. I think the best song. I think the best
song to me. I can't think of one better. Maybe you guys out there, you might think of one better. There might be some fans out there of other clubs who might think of one better. But I don't know. To me, that's just a legendary song for a legend, right? But even though he's a legend, we need to win this game.
100%.
Look at the games we got coming up. There's some winnable games in there, Lee, right? You know, the last 4 games, 3 wins and a draw. Disappointing performance against Brighton last time out. We need to come into that game firing. I mean, it's a huge game for Arsenal. It's a game that the fans will be expecting to win, but it won't be easy. No. There's another player that Palace has got who always does well against us. He's a good player, Zaha.
Always.
Player that we could have bought, by the way. He's always the Pepe. I would have loved him at Arsenal.
Yeah, I loved him at Arsenal.
But it's a difficult game, but a winnable game.
Yeah, you know, our next 2 games are Palace and then on the Friday Villa. We've got, you know, you've got to win your own games. People turn around and quite rightly turn around after that game against Brighton and said, oh, like, you know, it's a good point away. It's a good point away if you win your own games. You know what I mean? So it's no good drawing at Brighton and then drawing at Palace and drawing with Villa. You win those, you've got to nail those 2 games now and get that invincible sort of, pardon the pun, feeling at the Emirates again. Like, so when teams come to the Emirates, I think, we're in for a
last season, I don't know if it's because of the lack of fans, we were poor at the Emirates. Poor. We were actually decent away. Yeah. But the Emirates were shocking. We've got to get that right. I mean, you mentioned Villa there. They're one of the teams that came to the Emirates and turned us over pretty easily.
So that was the writing on the wall. I think that was the first team to really give us a real good going over, didn't they? And and Palace, we struggled against Palace over the years. You know what I mean? It's never going to be easy because they've got players that have always been our kryptonite to our defence, if you mean, like weaknesses, you know. But like, I think our defence is a lot more solid now. So it'd be very, very interesting to see what we do, you know, because obviously we've got Edouard up front now, haven't they? Like, you know, so they've got another powerful striker.
Different type of Palace as well.
Different type of Palace games.
When I've watched them recently as well, the difference between them that I think to maybe Roy Hodgson's Palace is that they press. So our defenders will probably find that, you know, they will press us a lot. So the defence is going to have to be on point.
Yeah, and that's the disappointing thing for me going into the Brighton game. When I look back at that, is that You know, we want to be this footballing side and everything like that. As soon as Brighton pressed us, our footballing disintegrated. We was playing long balls and not playing. We've still got to have that confidence. If some team pressures you quickly, you've got to be able to have the confidence to work around it and all that. It's no good like playing teams and that are not going to press and play all your football. When teams press you, you've got to think, all right, come on, we're still playing our football and get out of these things. Arsenal don't do that at the moment. That's a bit of a worry for me.
Yeah, so it's a big game, and look, as I said, looking at the fixtures coming up, Palace at home, Villa at home on the Friday. It's weird that is.
Yeah,
game
weird,
on a Monday, game on a Friday is ridiculous.
No weekends.
Right. Then Tuesday, the 26th, we've got the Carabao Cup game against Leeds. That's at home. And then on Saturday the 30th, finishing off the month with Leicester away. And then Watford at home after that, before we get to Liverpool away, which we always do terribly at. But out of those games there, I mean, let me ask you, so Palace at home, think we'll win?
Yeah, because we're at home.
Villa?
Yep, home.
I'll take the Leeds one out of it for that. Leicester away. They haven't been pulling up trees, Leicester.
They haven't been, and that's the thing. Like, but
good side,
very good side. So I'm not going to disrespect them and say that we should win there, but we've got to stay unbeaten.
So you get a draw.
So I would, if we've won those first two games, and we got a draw at Leicester, I wouldn't be so downbeat about it.
And then first week in November, Watford at home.
Yeah, that's so like another win.
Right.
Win.
So we could be really move up the table before we take on Liverpool.
If we was to get, say, if we were to get 12 points from the, and I don't think we're playing that well where you could say we're going to guarantee ourselves 12 points. But if we was to get, those two home wins and a draw against Leicester, so we get like 7 points from those three games. You're going to be moving up the table at something. Like obviously you want to get 9, you know what I mean. But I think it's going to be tough. But as you say, like we've got three home games. Include the cup game as well. You've got to keep the momentum and going in our home games. Now, if we were to win comfortably, or not comfortably, but play well against Palace, play well against Leicester, then the confidence is going into that Villa game. We could actually go, oh, hold on, they're not been in great form. There a few injuries and all that. We could go there and we beat them 3. We actually beat Leicester quite comfortably last season, didn't we? 3-1. I think we went a goal down and then done well. So that'd be an interesting game. But you've got to win your home games, Robbie. Got to win your home games.
Definitely. A feature I'm going to do every week when we look at games is talk about the key man. Who is the key man for Arsenal in that game, do you think?
What, Palace?
No, the key man for Arsenal.
Yeah, what, against Palace?
Against Palace. Who's going to be that key man, that player that you think is going to have a big role to play in that game?
Well, I think that Gabriel will have to be at his best at the back there. I think he's been excellent since he's come back. But for me, Partey in midfield, I'm a believer that games are won and lost in midfield. You've got to. I felt that against Tottenham we dominated the midfield and it was a lot down to him, not just him, but everybody played well. I felt we lost the midfield battle against Brighton.
We didn't have no midfield against Brighton.
We didn't have that. So he's got to pick the right partner alongside him.
It's this weird system where the midfielders are like playing like defenders, just dropping in all the time.
I don't understand
and vacating the midfield.
I don't understand that. I think that you've got to, somewhere along the line, Mikel Arteta has got to say, right, I believe and I trust in my defence to defend, to allow the other cogs to go forward and make us more of an attacking side. He hasn't done that at the moment. Like, do you know what I mean? Whether it's he doesn't feel Tierney's quite up to scratch at the moment because he's not been playing well, so he's trying to cover him or whatever. I don't know, but that's your back four or back five with the goalkeeper. Have confidence in it, and then build forward. I don't want to see. I get going back even to the great Arsenal sides. He had the protection of Vieira and Vieira and Gilberto protecting that back. That's fine. You know what I mean? Like if that's the way you want to play, but don't be dropping midfield players into left back slots to protect it. Do it properly.
In a way, you want Partey to be Vieira. against Vieira.
Yeah, something like that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and to be honest, we've not had a player like that for a very, very long while. Arsenal have not had that big, powerful, strong midfield player that we've been crying out for years.
Yeah.
So we've got that now. So you've got to build. I think not build the team around him, but he's got to be the focal point going forward. To you know, that's going to.
Did well for Ghana as well.
Yeah, I think like, you know, just he's a fantastic player until he shoots. You know what I mean? Like if you don't, you know, if you
but I think he scored a free kick for Ghana.
Oh, great! You know what I mean? Like,
there you go. They're flying in there.
They're flying in there, like you know. So you watch we're real ducking on come Monday night. You know what I mean?
You know who my key player, my key man in that game is Takehiro Tomiyasu. He'll be up against Zaha.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. That's a good point.
And he, you know, that's a tough assignment for any player. Any player. He's going to have to be on it because the key player for them is Zaha. We all know that. Yeah. And he's been playing well this season. And that guy, I rate him. I always used to have loads of arguments. I remember I argued with DT and many other people. I say we should buy him. And they'd be like, oh, do we want... Oh, he's quality.
Yeah, I'm in your camp.
He would have been brilliant at Arsenal. But he is... Honestly, he's a player that can turn a game. He's so quick. He's skillful. He can go outside, inside. Tomiyasu's going to have his real work cut out. You know what I mean? And in the first half at Brighton, he struggled, didn't he? He struggled, and that guy he was up against, I'm not being funny, he ate nothing on Zaha.
No, I don't think so.
So I feel that they're going to target him. Yeah. Second half, I thought he did very well.
Yeah, he did. He changed his game a bit.
He changed his game up, did very well. But I reckon that probably when they're doing their assessments of Arsenal, they'll be saying to Zaha, yeah, you know what, he's new to the division, struggled in that first half, get at him. Get at him, you know? And so he's got a big role to play because if you keep Zaha quiet, a lot of the time you can get a result against Palace.
Yeah, and that's what you've got to look, you know, I was. Do you remember when he was linked with Arsenal? I was excited.
Yes, so was I. I wanted him.
I was really excited.
I couldn't believe people who were like, Zaha. Are you joking?
Nah, I would have loved to have seen him at Arsenal. I'd still take him now.
So would I.
You know what I mean? Like, if I'll be honest. But yeah, you know, and listen, he causes problems without a shadow of a doubt.
Serious problems. But Takehiro Tomiyasu, who I think's been brilliant. It's been a brilliant signing so far. But he's got his work cut out. These are the games.
Listen, honeymoon period over for him. He started off well with a couple of good performances, but now he's got tested against Brian. I think he come through in the end. I think, if I'll be honest, I thought he had a torrid first half, but changed his game around second half, and I thought, yeah, I like that. Yeah. I like that he didn't carry on like certain other right backs have done. He changed his game, changed up his game. I thought done well. So it's another test for him on Monday night, and he'll have those sort of tests now, and you know, hopefully he'll come through him because looks like a powerful unit. If I'll be honest, I quite liked him, what he does, the way he defends and everything. So I think he's a proper defender. I think
Saka as well didn't help him a lot in that game. I think he's going to have to help him out as well. You know, you've got to double up on Zaha. You know what I mean? He's the threat, and as you said, they've got, you know what I mean, Gallagher, who's been playing really well. They've now got Odsonne Edouard, like you said. You know, they've got several really good players. You know, the guy they got from Reading. They've got some exciting players.
Yeah, I think they've done really well.
They're quite an exciting team, but they're beatable.
Oh, of course.
You know, Arsenal really got to try and stick it on them. It's going to be a tough game without a doubt. Yeah, it's going to be a tough game.
They had a good result at West Ham as well, don't forget. Like, West Ham were flying at the stage and got a 2-2 draw. So it's not going to be an easy game. Not going to be an easy game at all.
What I wanted to do now is on this show, we're going to do this every weekly, yeah? Where what we're going to do is we're going to take a look. Actually, no, before we get to that, I haven't got your take on it yet about the Newcastle takeover. Newcastle now taken over by the Saudis, you know, worth £320 billion, their owners. That's another team into the mix now.
Well, without a shadow.
You know, who've got more spending power than City and Chelsea put together. Then all the Premier League owners put together, they're worth more. they're going to be serious, aren't they?
Oh, without that, you know what I mean? Like, listen, it's not just Arsenal and Spurs and Everton that are worried about this. I'm pretty sure Liverpool and Manchester United are going to be worried about it. Like, not so much Chelsea and City, because I think that they've got enough financial clout to keep getting into the top four. But certainly, like, those teams are going to be. Listen, it's a closed shop, the top four at the moment. It's going to take a lot of money to break into that. Welcome to the party, Newcastle, because they're going to do it, and it'd be very interesting how they're going to go about it. I think, like, if they've got a,
it ain't going to be with Steve Bruce, that's for sure.
No, it's not going to be with Steve Bruce, which is, well, you know, unfortunate for him, but you know, he'll get a little payout and move on and all that, like. But what I think Newcastle do now, I think they'll raid Man United for Lingard. I think that's one that they go for. Aaron Ramsey at Juventus, I think, could be another one that could go there. Getting all those sort of players in and around that and then in the summer, I think then, you know, it'd be interesting to see what they do. I don't think it's going to be like a thing within a year, straight away, but I think within 2 years. You know, so Arsenal can't mess about now. They've got to
what
do
do you
something.
think our owners have made of would have made of that?
Well, if anything, they've tried to stop it, haven't they? Like, instead of,
well,
like,
they did try and stop it.
Yeah, that tells you everything, doesn't it?
They are one of the clubs that tried to stop it, right? But now it's happened. What do you think? What do you think their planning is now? Because it's all right saying, right, we're going to go with this model of younger players and long-term play. That's now thrown another. I mean, you're trying to get into the top four and win the league. Now you've got another major player.
Yeah,
that plan's going to have to be revised, isn't it?
It's going to have to be, and you know, all of a sudden, you know, top five. You know, to get into the top five is going to be very, very difficult now, because Newcastle are going to be in that mix, aren't they? You know, so you've got to get above City, Chelsea, Newcastle, Manchester United and Liverpool to get into the top four. That's going to be difficult. So, you know, even Europa League football now is going to be tough to get into. You know what I mean?
Do you reckon? I've sort of had this little theory in my head that they may think to themselves, you know, a decent offer comes in. Because, look, the Super League thing's done, right? Ain't going to get that. Now, chances of getting into the Champions League year in, year out, that's gone. Because you got Newcastle, the starting point of Newcastle, Man City and Chelsea, who can spend their way into it. You still got Man United, you still got Liverpool, you know.
Yes,
you know, and like you said, you got Tottenham, you got Everton, you got, you know, West Ham coming up. I mean, so I'm just wondering if they might be looking at it and thinking, you know what, maybe if we did get a brilliant offer for this, maybe just move on now.
Yeah,
because I don't know. I'm just.
Well, you have a look. Let's get this right. You know what I mean? If the Cronkies wanted to compete with those teams, they can. They've got the money. They've got the financial clout to compete with any player that they want. They're not as rich as that, but you know they could. They're not poor. By standards, Arsenal, you know, and Tottenham, if you look at it, they could as well, but they don't want to. So what does that tell you? You know,
so what are you going to be looking at now?
So so what are you actually looking for? What are you actually at Arsenal for? Are you actually there to be a financial? Are you there to make money at Arsenal? I think that they are. That's what they are. So if a good offer comes in, look, you're making enough money, get out and let somebody else come in that was going to take. You know, listen. We'd love it. We'd love to have that sort of excitement of players coming to Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? Like, whether you agree with who's the investors or not, I don't care. If I'll be honest, I want to see Arsenal winning things and being back in the Champions League again. You know, so you know, like, I can see why people don't want it and whatever. But if it's you're not going to argue about it, are you? Like, you know, and listen, look. You know, Newcastle, I've always loved Newcastle fans, but I guarantee within the next couple of years I'm not going to. You know what I mean? Because they're going to start winning things, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, everybody loves a loser in England, don't they? Like, you know, and Newcastle have been one of those gallant losers, if you've been honest. You know, always follow the team, but never quite get over the line. they're going to get over the line in the next few years without a shadow.
Definitely going to get over the line, and it's going to make it more difficult for Arsenal. And if we don't get our act together, and if there's not a distinct plan, and I think now that plan has to be revised. I always look back to it and I think to myself, Arsenal, when they moved into the Emirates, they had a distinct plan, but that was based off of us competing with Man United. They didn't take into account when Chelsea came around. They didn't take that into account at all, and they started to fall away. Tried to persist with the model that we did, where we didn't spend and we sold players and stuff like that, and we are where we are now. Now that the Newcastle owners have come in, I think another rethink is required. Just saying that, yeah, we're going to go with youth. You're going to have to add, there's nothing wrong with that, but you're going to have to add some top quality players to that youth, or it ain't going to work. We'll just be, I'm telling you, this Newcastle takeover has serious consequences for a club like Arsenal.
Yeah, and the other great thing is also for the other teams, because you've got Manchester City that are spending like fortunes, and Chelsea. Well, there's only be one team that can win it.
True, so but they'll still be, but they'll be competing.
Yeah,
like you said, they're going to have to be able to, because only even though they're worth 320 billion, they're not spending all 320 billion. But it's just that what it does, it gives them the ability to do exactly what Chelsea and City are doing, right? So I'm saying, if we don't adjust our model, we've got to be able to. We're going to have to spend more money on top quality players.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
And we're going to have to. We're going to have that ability of keeping hold of players. What happens to a player like Saka in a couple of years' time if we haven't won anything?
That's the thing.
Smith Rowe.
You know, all
that
of a sudden
youth you're building, you know what I mean?
They've got these teams to go to.
Yeah, you've got Newcastle as option, you've got City. Yeah. We've seen City in the past buy loads of our star players.
And
Chelsea.
I think that Newcastle, no disrespect to Chelsea and Manchester City, was going to be a better proposition, because you've got like proper supporting club fan base. I mean, a proper fan base up there, like, you know. So the one team that I think is going to feel this more than anybody, you know, is Manchester United, because they're spending right onto the limit of what they can do to compete with Chelsea and Man City, and you know, have got a fantastic squad now to push to that. And then all of a sudden Newcastle have come along.
It's funny because one time them Saudi owners were linked with Man United as well. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. We need a new owner. We need some money, right? Like you said, he's got money. That's the frustrating thing. But yeah, this new feature we're going to do each and every week is what we're going to do is we're going to pick 4 games, including the Arsenal game, from the Premier League, right? And we're going to predict them, what the score's going to be. And we're going to have a leaderboard, right? Now, we're going to do it on a month-to-month basis, right? It's the hospitality title, I'm going to call this, based off, I know you love a bit of hospitality, right? At the end of each month, the person who's accumulated the most points will win £100. At the end of the season, the person who's accumulated the most money, right, will not have to pay for the hospitality of the other person. The other person will have to use the money that they've accumulated to pay for the hospitality and match that money that that person has won to pay for the hospitality of that other person.
So the one that wins it has to treat the other one to hospitality then. Of
the value of the money that person has won.
Accumulated, like,
You up for that?
Yeah, I'm up for that, like, yeah.
£100 a month?
£100 a month, like,
right.
Pressure.
So each week we'll predict the 4 games. As I said, 1 point if you get the exact. Sorry, 1 point if you get the result. Outcome right. So if you say draw and it's a draw, but if you get the exact outcome right, you're going to get 3 points. All right. So it's important to get the exact
score.
Right. Games we're going to look at this weekend. First one: Arsenal versus Crystal Palace, Monday night. What you going? You go first.
I'll go first on this one, shall I? 2-0.
2-0.
You got to go. Can you go the same then? Can you?
No, you can't go the same.
So right. So the next one I've got to change.
You can't go the same. And I was going to go 2-0.
Get in there. Thanks for letting me go first.
1-0. 1-0. I'll go. Right. Second game. Leicester versus Manchester United on Saturday.
Right, so you go first then.
Bloody hell.
Is it Leicester, is it?
Yeah. I'm going 2-0 Man United.
2-0. I'm going to go 1-1.
1-1. You go for a draw.
Yeah.
Third game is pre-money Newcastle, because they ain't spent it yet, versus Tottenham.
Oh, that's a difficult one because you would have probably...
And it's at Newcastle.
Yeah, you would have probably thought that Spurs would have won that going into the game.
Bloody hell, the way Harry Kane was shocking the other day, wasn't it?
But they can't be that bad all the time away, can they? But the feel-good factor, 2-1, Newcastle, I think.
Oh, I was going to go
Was
that.
you going to go that?
Yeah, I was going to go that.
I just feel like it's got to be a feel-good factor at Newcastle.
Yeah, I feel that as well. That place is going to be packed and it's going to be rocking. And it's even going to give a lift to those players that are there because they're going to be thinking, yeah, I want to stay here now.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? I was going to go 2-1, man. Oh. Right, I have to go. I'm going to go in a mad one. No, I can't go 3-2, man. I can't see Newcastle scoring 3 goals. 1-0 Newcastle.
1-0, yeah. They ain't going to score many goals, Newcastle. Mind you, like...
But this is the only thing is they always concede, though. I don't know. All right, 1-0. And the final game is Everton versus West Ham. Another tough one.
Oh, you go first on that one.
Everton versus West Ham. Both teams playing well. Everton. I don't know. I'm not sure if Calvert-Lewin's back. I don't think he is he? I'm going to go draw in this one. 1-1. 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I think that's a tough call, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? I think it could be a 0-0 or 2-2 I've got to go for. Like, yeah, can't go 0-0. I'm going to have to go 2-2. I think that there'd be a draw as well, but 1-1 looks a very good bet down that one. So 2-2, like, you know. All
right, so Lee's going 2-2. So those are our scores that we've gone for. You guys play along with us as well in the comments. Remember, whoever loses at the end of this month will have to put £100 into the kitty for the other person. All right. So, but yeah, that first one. 2-0, yeah, I think I was going to go that for Arsenal.
1-0, 2-0.
Let's hope that Arsenal can get a win. Listen, we want to keep the momentum going at Arsenal, so really, really looking forward to that game. As Lee said, some weird games coming up, Monday and Friday. For two, you know, we basically we've gone a whole month without a game at a weekend.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we have, haven't we?
Yeah, because we've had the international break, then no game this weekend.
Yeah, so
and then no game next weekend. And I'll tell you what, Friday kickoffs, you don't want to lose that. Then you've got to sit there the whole weekend watching people. If you win that game, it's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah. You kick back for the rest of the weekend, feet up.
I used to like the Saturday morning one because
but I think the Friday night one's even better though, isn't it? Because remember how bad it was when we played Brentford on a Friday night?
I didn't watch no
the
football.
Whole weekend. Yeah. Come on, Arsenal, don't let us down.
Everybody's excited the Premier League was back, and apart from us, wasn't it? Like,
it was like we wanted the season to end.
Yeah, that's awful, like, you know what I mean? So we are at home though, so that gives us a little bit more.
Gives us a little, yeah. Well, Lee, thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate it.
Enjoyed it.
I loved it. Invincible podcast, the first one. We'll be building and improving as weeks go on and on here. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe here to AFTV. Also, you can subscribe to Lee on his channel.
Lee Judges TV, like, yeah.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's going really well, like, you know. So we've just had 1 million views already, like, in 3 months. So
how do you?
Yeah, like, you know, so it's going really well.
That's brilliant. So, congratulations.
Yeah,
man.
so all different things on there, different features, different people on it. So yeah.
I'm going to get across and watch the hospitality at
Wimbledon. Yeah.
I want to see that bit with the feet in.
The hospitality.
Feet in the river
like,
thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that
Bloody hell.
Check that out. You can check that one
out. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. Don't forget you can download this podcast on all the usual formats and click the link in the description as well if you want to get those. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.